let's get into this draft phase. So, Sean, we see
Yes.
Stitches Tychus bands here.
Yep.
Pretty common. You think that's just totally normal?
Well, the Stitches band is pretty much just there to make sure the game is played kind of straight up, and then because Glarok has a pretty good Stitches, getting him out of the way is pretty smart. And then for Glorious to ban Tychus, I guess it just makes sense. They don't want them to be able to first pick Tychus. They think it's worth getting rid of that and then being able to pick up like giving them the Tassadar or something, or
Yeah.
like the Arthas, and then they take whatever.
Yeah, it's funny you mention Arthas actually because we see no Arthas ban or pick in this entire draft, which really surprises me. I mean, Wildfire first picking that Tassadar, that's been rising in the ranks. Not surprised to see that. Vala Uther also highly rated, and it follows up. We see team compositions come out, and there's just no Arthas here. Do you think that's correct? Like, should one of these teams have picked up Arthas because it was free, or do you think they have a strategy in mind and it's okay that they didn't pick Arthas?
Well, if they have a strategy, and I guess you can pretty much see all the picks now. If you have a strategy, like it's not necessary to do. And for Glorious, they're picking up Diablo as a tank, so
Yeah.
they maybe had something planned with him, and they also go Kerrigan, so some sort of combination is definitely in the works. And then for Wildfire, I mean they want to almost do like a Zero tool and then burst down with like Falstead, Tyrael, like Tassadar. I assume someone on the outside.
Yeah.
So Arthas maybe doesn't fit into any of those as well.
Interesting. I think this marks the first time in the ECS that Arthas was not banned or picked.
Hmm.
So,
It's
interesting
cool
meta
to see the meta
developments.
change, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, enough of that stuff, guys. We're going to drop into game. Glorious versus Wildfire. Sheth, you in game, 5 seconds normal speed, good to go?
Good to go.
That is what I like to hear, guys. We're going to start this in 3, 2, 1, boom. And on this blue side left team, we're rocking that Wildfire lineup with Pickles on the Zeratul, Wargreymon on the Falstad, Bims on the Tassadar Poom, following it up on that Master Skin Tyrael, and finally, Iacona on that Malfurion. Sheth, you want to give us the breakdown of Glorious's lineup on this red side team?
All right, for sure. We got CPs on the Barney, the purple Diablo, and then we have Glaura doing the Kerrigan, followed up by some damage with Gotham Luck and Syracuse playing the Raynor and Vala. And then Soma, the support on Uther, who's now a Lumberjack as well.
That Lumberjack Uther skin reminds me of myself. Oh, man. Anyway, so interestingly here, I mean, we see a 5-man roam squad by Glorious, really aggressive into that mid lane. Doesn't look like Wildfire's going to fall for it, though.
Yep, they're just kind of relaxing. They have their lanes all set. I like the Glorious is trying to take some initiative. They have a Kerrigan. They can pretty much gank anyone who shows up. Be really strong early. And I like both decisions on that. The other team just being passive because they're the weaker early team.
Yeah, absolutely. Not nearly as much, really strong hearts you see in that early game for the Wildfire lineup. And we see all the lanes kind of just turning into that, soak and play cautious thing. Now, Glorious coming in, looks like they want to take a gank in the top side. Is Falstad Malfurion vulnerable to this gank?
Malfurion is. The Falstead is not at all. But like getting those health globes, like getting that health code right there, could have been like a death. I think if like they were ready to go at that point, if they were sure he was going to go.
So definitely got to be cautious picking up those health globes. I've been sniped out a time or two trying to pick those up. I can tell you that. So
they're just meant to get you killed, man.
I know. You think the shiny green orb's going to give you some health, and you end up dying for it, and it's a tragedy, really. Now Glorious investing a lot of time in their 2-man squad, trying to make this gank happen. Meanwhile, Wildfire actually kind of bodying Koth and Luck on the Raynor out of that bottom lane. That might end up costing them, but we have an engage on the top side. Iacona getting pulled by Karen into the stun, into the overpower, and the Shadow Charge, and that is going to be first blood in the top lane, guys. Sheth called it.
It's scary. Like, LZ Gamer, when he was doing his interview yesterday, was like, Snowflake only lost 4 people to Kerrigan. We were so happy that we only lost 4, right? So, Kerrigan really is a beast.
Yeah, the Kerrigan Diablo early game coming out really strong for Glorious again here. Now let's see if they can close this game off, because earlier in the week we saw a game they had this same lineup of Kerrigan Diablo, got way ahead with it, couldn't hold the lead. So we're going to have to see how it ends up going for them.
Yep, they're getting some seeds right now. Not too many. It would be almost cool to see them get a bigger golem here, like put say Kerrigan or put actually even Diablo top to let him soak souls, and have Volarum with the Kerrigan. So maybe do the big plant golem. I think that might be a cool strategic idea in the future.
Yeah.
But I mean, they got some of the small ones, and now they're coming back up to games. So this works
Yeah.
very well too.
This gank not as effective as the first one, unfortunately. They're playing a little more defensive now. Oh, Pickles almost walks into ZP's there, but he couldn't get into that spot because ZP's was in the brush. So now he knows that the Diablo is there. So they're going to know they have 3 men up here.
Yep.
Poom playing hyper aggressive on that Tyrael in the mid lane, but there's just nothing you can really do to gank him. So tanky.
Yep, and then that sword toss, like, you can catch him, pull him all you want, but if he gets that sword toss, he's flying away.
Yeah. So, good call by Glorious here to take Mercs. I mean, obviously, Wildfire doesn't have as strong of an early game, but we know they're playing really defensive, so Glorious just taking Mercenaries where they can to try and put some pressure on the map. Wildfire also taking their own Siege Giants here, so pretty much an even trade. Oh, Malfurion getting engaged on the top side, gets Shadow Charged into the wall. That's going to be the full stun duration, but Glaurung is under a lot of pressure. He can't stun Malfurion, has to go for Wargrim on a Pickles, but that is not going to be enough damage on either of them, and Glaurung is super low, has to jump out to his own ally with that adaptation, and Pickles with a huge blink to dodge the Shadow Charge, actually knocking him away from
That was amazing.
the Glorious team and saving his life, probably.
Seconds, man. Woo.
Yeah. That Shadow Charge into the blink was just, oh man, that feels so bad.
I meant to hit you in. Why? Why did you
Yeah.
escape?
Oh man, you get so much flack when you're a Diablo too. If you flip or knock someone like the wrong way, you just get so much flack, and you're like, I tried. But here we see another engage coming in on this mid side, and that is actually going to be a pick on the Tyrael. That huge Kerrigan combo damage coming in. Tyrael and Zeratul had been aggressive in the mid lane, damaging Uther, and they knew that Tyrael's Eldrarun Might was down, so he couldn't escape that gank once he overcommitted.
Yep.
Now Glorious trying to force down some seeds off of this plant terror while they have the man advantage, although early in this game, kills do not last that long, so they have to be careful here. Tyrael is already making his way back to mid lane.
It's still a really, like, a very good call to get rid of it, to get the plants, kill it, and get the seeds. I don't think they don't quite have hundreds. They have actually 90 seeds right now.
Yeah.
So it's actually almost the perfect situation too. They can just kill some of the small ones. I guess some of the small ones are up, but they could even just do a little bit of damage and get enough seeds to get that plant for themselves in a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Cothenlock taking a lot of harass in this bottom lane, but now ZPs and Glaurung coming in to save their ally. And Pickles goes down to that Diablo Shadow Charge into the wall. Didn't even need the Kerrigan combo. The Rain or Diablo damage was enough. And that means that Wildfire is down another man. Glorious has more power play time, and they're going to finish off the Plant Terror with this. Do you like getting the Plant Terror this early in the game, Chef?
Well, strategically, it's very up in the air, I guess, how you handle the plant terror. You can all go together with it. You can take objectives with it, like go to a merc camp with it. You can push a lane and be split with it. I think having the plant terror this early is definitely good. I just don't know which strategy they're going to pick is the best. But yeah,
Okay.
it's definitely good. Like, it's definitely good to have more options of things you can do.
Yeah. I like what Wildfire did here a lot, though. As soon as they saw the Plant Terror get readied, they went and did all of the mercenary camps so that when Glorious took the Plant Terror, it didn't despawn them.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually a really good response by Wildfire to immediately go clear all of their mercenary camps.
Yeah, definitely really smart. Now they're pushing bots together as 5. That may actually kind of force the plant terror to go there too. But no, plant terror is going mid actually.
Yeah, Plant Terror's mid right now, looking like he's heading to top side. Now Glorious gonna have a hard time holding this 4-man against 5-man. Both teams now above level 10 have the heroics available, and then we see the Tyrael engage on Cothenluck. Is he gonna go down? He does get the heal off, but it's not enough. He goes down anyway through the shotgun up a Glaurung with a huge re-engage onto the entire squad of Wildfire, but it's not enough damage with only the Kerrigan and Vala damage. It is not enough to kill or even hurt anyone on the Wildfire squad through the Tranquility.
Wow, I think they maybe could have re-engaged on the 3 people on the Soma Syracuse and Glaurung there to try and get them after the Void Prism, but they played it safe, got the fort. They're gonna go mid, keep the pressure up, and ZP, he is a plant. It's doing a lot of damage. we'll see if it is worth it in the end. Right now, it's 1
Yeah.
for 1 for Wise and just a kill. So
Definitely.
slight advantage, I think, for Wildfire.
Yeah, and to be the team that lost the map objective and goes even, that feels really good, right?
Yeah,
you're in this
yeah.
game, you lose the map objective, but then you go even on objectives after that while they're trying to use it. That feels really good. So they're in a good place in their heads now. Diablo is inside that plant terror. When he comes out, he will have APOC up. I wonder if we'll see Glorious try and force something while maybe they think some of these ultimates are down on Wildfire, because if we remember, Void Prison is a long cooldown. It still has 40 seconds left almost. Trank is also at 36 seconds, so I could see them trying to force something here.
Yeah, they have that level advantage still. They have this talent point at level 13. Is that rewind talent for Kerrigan even?
Yes, it is. So that is a huge power spike and sprint on Uther. So
Yeah.
really big talents come in at that level 13 junction. And we see them not force a fight under that fort. They're not willing to do that. Both teams playing kind of defensively, going to their Siege Knights, although Wildfire, maybe they know what's up. They're looking to do something about this.
Maybe. They probably had Void Prism pop up, and we're kind of considering, like, let's go look and see if we can maybe sneak someone out. But both teams playing very carefully, sticking with 5 people. Both kind of wanting to fight, kind of not, wanting to be the ones that
CP gets a good engage on Falstad here, and an Uther stun follows up onto that Falstad. That is a lot of burst damage. The Void Prison comes out onto 2 targets, but it's not enough to save Falstad's life. Glowing has to go back inside of it because he is very low, but that still leaves 4 people up on Wildfire. Could we see the re-engage while this Archon is alive? No, he does get caught. He gets Kerrigan stunned, pulled. He gets the Void Shift, but is it enough? Raynor takes him down with the last shot. ZPs goes in under the fort, tries to catch Pickles, but Pickles blinks out. That is a 2 for 0 in favor of Glorious Gaming.
Very well played by ZPs there. Getting the flip, making the call, like, alright, we got him, we got the Falstead, goes in, ults, you know, to keep everyone else busy while they took out the Falstead, and that's a good chunk of their damage. Didn't even get his huge laser off.
Yeah.
Without it, it just cleaned up.
Yeah, and we didn't even see a Terrial Judgment or a Tranquility come out in that fight either. I don't know if they could have saved the Tassadar at least if they'd been willing to use those, but it seemed like once that Falstad got picked, they kind of lost direction in the team fight, maybe, and didn't really know how to disengage.
Yep. Tough situation for sure, but well played. Definitely by Glorious. And
Yeah, absolutely.
Wildfire is, you know, taking objectives now, getting back into the swing of things, going for a plant, switching plants, trading plants. Not the, it's not a game over by any means. It's maybe a level and a half difference.
Absolutely not. So, this is interesting here, because Wildfire is way behind on kills. They're down 4 kills, and they're down 2 levels, but they've kind of kept up in their overall map control and objectives, so good play coming out from them there. Now, because of the seed advantage they had going into this second night, Glorious actually gets another plant, despite not collecting as many seeds as Wildfire.
Yeah. Pretty impressive that both players get it. Here's the fight. Probably happens pretty soon.
Yeah, Roots kind of denies that engage there. It buys a lot of time, but Uther comes in, does stun the Tyrael. ZP's trying to chase out Falstad. Falstad's all the way on the other side because of that barrel roll, and that means that there is no engage for Glorious.
Yeah, they were only 1 level up there. Maybe they weren't too comfortable. They get a whole new talent point at 16. So I feel like they kind of wanted, like they wanted to engage, but they didn't want to engage. Very
Absolutely.
indecisive, especially with the Raynor ult going off. And nothing else happening.
Oh no, that's a mistake. We see the plant terror spawned by ZPs just as Glorious was trying to go to their knights, but they hadn't engaged them yet, so their knights despawn and Wildfire's knights are pushing bottom side. Now that terror's going to make quick work of these knights in the bottom side, but it still is just a little thing that's going to be kind of upsetting. They did hit 16 here though, so they have another power spike where they can take advantage, maybe bully out this Wildfire team, despite being even on plants.
Yep, for sure. This is going to be interesting too. We're going to have to see. It looks like they're going to defend with the plant. We haven't seen, or I haven't seen personally, too much plant defense versus plant. But the polymorph ability is really, really good right now, and really strong if it ever gets off.
Yeah, so the polymorph in this patch now lands on the ground and it actually pulses multiple times, essentially denying a relatively large area from the entire enemy team. So this is going to be interesting to see how this works. Oh, Pickles gets pulled in but doesn't get hit by the Kerrigan stun. That's going to allow him to blink out. That's really good for this Wildfire lineup, but then a huge polymorph by ZPs. Polymorphs 3 people, means Wildfire's not able to engage.
Yeah,
And
CP's playing very passive with their plants. I thought they'd be much more of the aggressor, you know?
Yeah, Glorious backing out here for free. Oh, they do manage to get a pull, but that is on the plant terror. A huge health pool, doesn't really care. Polymer Fund to Syracuse, and these teams just dancing like their life depended on it. Nobody wants to make a silly mistake and get caught and blown up this game.
Yeah, the plant's still going to last a little bit longer for Wildfire. They almost have the initiative here despite being a level down.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. Flipped him, got the explosion.
Alright, so the plant turret goes down, and now it looks like Glorious is ready to engage. They're trying to go on Poom, but Poom dives into the backline. They start ignoring him. Looks like a little bit of split decision. There's the Void Prison on the backline. Wildfire now trying to focus down ZPs and Glaurung, but they don't have enough damage. ZP's going to walk away at 1/3 health. Tyrael goes down on the backline because he's all alone 1v3. That is going to be a decisively won fight for this Glorious lineup. Can they get the finish, or are they going to overextend in this chase? Roots denies Uther and Diablo very hard here, but Cawthon Luck on that Rainer still trying to chase down. Can he catch up? I don't think they have the tools to re-engage this, Sheth.
Yeah, not quite, not quite. That was a pretty interesting fight. Definitely a lot closer than I thought it would be. And then even continuing to chase when they were that low was a little bit surprising to me.
Yeah, Glorious Nerves is still chasing in to that Wildfire lineup at, 1/3 health on Diablo, 1/2 health on Uther.
Yeah.
But it turned out to be a 2-for-0 for them, so that's pretty good. Now, they haven't made anything with it yet, and they've moved onto the Wildfire side of the map, so Wildfire's revives are now in, and they could re-engage here if Glorious sticks around, but it looks like they're going to make their way out.
Yeah, they got to level 16 now, but they weren't quite at there. They don't have a lot of their ults up, which maybe isn't the worst thing, especially with Diablo ult down for quite a long time. Wildfire is going to have a point here where they're only going to be maybe 2 levels down, but they will have ults, and like Diablo won't have his.
Yeah,
so we'll
absolutely.
see how they play around that key point.
Okay, definitely. So, for reference, Diablo 45 seconds on that ult, and the longest ult cooldown we see on this Wildfire side is 15 seconds on the Malfurion. So there's a big gap there, 30 seconds about where they can maybe try and take an advantage. And they have to do something, because if they let that Diablo ult come back up and Glorious still has level advantage, they're grabbing a bunch of mercs, and they haven't been doing so well in team fights, this Wildfire team might have some issues.
Yeah, it's definitely looking good for Glorious Gaming. They've played the map well, played the objectives well, and played the team fights the best. That's been what's probably most important here, is managing to win every team fight so far.
Yeah, definitely. So we see both teams kind of just trading plants. Now, this is really good for Glorious because Wildfire doesn't have enough seeds for a plant terror. Glorious had a lot of leftover plant stock from that last investment in the night phase, and that means they're going to get a plant terror, and Wildfire will not. Will we see them be more aggressive with their plant terror this time? Now that there isn't one to push them back is the question.
They also got their knights this time around, so improvement, learning.
Definitely. Cleaned that up. That's good to see. No mercenaries on the map at all for Wildfire this time. So there wasn't anything for them to capture before the plant terror came up, so they couldn't use that to their advantage to buy time. And now they're going for the old gank bush strategy.
Bush strats.
Yeah. So no vision on Glorious team to find this at all. No Tyrande, no Tassadar, no Zagara even, to try and give vision. So it's going to be interesting to see if this works.
Yep. Coming around from behind.
Trying to engage on that flank, and they go in immediately on Kerrigan. Now, the Void Prison drops and it denies the shock and all. That's huge. Uther stuns onto 3 people. Bim's getting focus fired down by the Rainer, but he doesn't go down. Has the Void Shift. Pickles, meanwhile, has to blink out, but he gets pulled back in by the Kerrigan. Poom also victim to that same pull, and that means that both of those go down. Finally, they also catch the Malfurion, and that is a clean 3-for-0 for Glorious, and that is probably game because of the plant terror also being up.
Yeah, for sure. A little bit of a miscommunication there where Tyrael knocked Kerrigan out of the false stead ult.
Yeah, into the Void Prison nonetheless.
Yeah.
Just real painful there. And that's going to be game for Wildfire and Glorious.
So that cements Snowflake as being #1 in the league. And Wildfire will be #2. Glorious' team will be #3. And that's going to be the finals for that whole area, right?
Absolutely. So that is the last game of Division 1, I believe. And Sheth has it all right. He remembered perfectly. That cements Snowflake in the Division 1 Seed 1 spot. Not going to have to play against Symbiote in that round of 4 in the playoffs. They are breathing a sigh of relief. They are breathing a sigh of relief. Now, Wildfire ends the season 8-4. Glorious ends it 6-6. That means that Glorious is still in that third place, but Wildfire now going to be seeded into Symbiote Gaming in that round of 4. That's going to be a tough match, Seth.
It'll be a good one for us to watch, though.
Yeah, that
Let's
is
do it.
that is fun because we haven't seen any play between Division 1 and Division 2 in the ECS so far. And Wildfire, as an up-and-coming team, it'll be interesting to see how they're going to fare against, pretty much what's been the stable best in the Alpha so far. Now, guys, I'm not aware if there's an interview for this match. I'm going to ask Patrick, and since there's a delay in that, I'm going to run some ads and some music for a minute, guys. Stick around, and we'll be bringing you more with the ECS, guys. Thanks for watching.